Well, hello everybody. I don't have much time as I don't have much battery left in my phone. Getting a new one on Thursday. I don't want to do too many lives or too many posts as charging is incredibly difficult. And I need to transfer data from this phone to my next device, and I've got things to get together in the next 2 days to do that. But I want to do this video because it's terrifying to see Dr. Jordan Peterson go on the way he is. And I'm going to tell folks, I will never be able to articulate or fight in the caliber of Dr. Jordan Peterson in literary genius. I forgot to turn my notifications off. Everybody's got to call me as soon as I do a live, it seems like. Folks, this is paramount. It's scary. It's scary in religious contexts. It's scary when dealing with Russia and the United States of America. I can tell you the presentation on YouTube that Dr. Jordan Peterson, well funded, folks, and it's no surprise. I can tell you clearly, without any reservation, Dr. Jordan Peterson works for the Crown right here in Canada. He's sworn to it. One of those right governments funds him. There's a whole action group. Yes, they're in the Catholic Church, and yes, they're in the Anglican Church. And I want you to hear this. This is for everybody. Doesn't matter your culture, your creed. It's actually more important for Americans as it's a war on America. I've done so much deep diving. I've read almost every religious text of every mainstream religion in the world. I've done that over many years, long before I did politics. And then going into politics, because I had questions about my existence, how things work in government. Religion's a big center point of that. And folks, you need to understand, I've studied every constitution. That's the building block of every nation in the world, even those not recognized. I've read every one. I can thank basically a tremendous amount of American academics from Chicago to Texas. Richard Albert's been incredible. He's one of the greatest living constitutional experts of our time. He's top in the United States of America. He was once a Canadian academic, but he moved on to USA. They wanted his genius. We've lost lots to the U.S. They've helped me, many of them, at least 20 of them. I had Mark Seidel, 3 presidents of the United States. They're expert on China. Fly out to Edmonton, Alberta many years ago. A lot of my loyal followers who've been with me a long time. He was the first, met with me. They saw some talent in me. They wrote some publications. I'm in them in the United States. From there, I've met a whopping amount all over the world, but many, many in the United States of America. America's troubled these days, and folks, I want to give my wisdom, my knowledge, what I've learned today that totally myth busts Dr. Jordan Peterson. And again, he's well funded by our Crown government. And yes, it's from the right side. Yes, Jesuits in there like dirty shirts. Yes, Anglicans in there like dirty shirts. And yes, Catholics in there like dirty shirts. I was once born and raised Catholic. Just very recently, in the last few years, I left the Catholic Church. I had enough. Residential school, genocide did that for me. But folks, America is built, absolutely built on the principle of we the people. The federal constitution, the highest laws of the most powerful nation in the world, was written by the states themselves. What is now 50 states, there was 13 and others coalescing who had written their highest laws. And folks, they took God as the highest source, not a pyramid, not the mainstream religions. You can take those, throw them away, because those 13 states were not of the mainstream religions. They're religions that don't even really exist in any more than 2,000 or 3,000 Canadian memberships. However, in the United States, along that Bible Belt, they're tremendously large and in charge. And they wrote state constitutions before the federal Constitution of the United States of America. There were no pronouns in those constitutions, folks. It was they and their, the people. They and their. Before the U.S. Constitution. No man or woman, it's the people. Them, they, and their. You won't hear that from Dr. Jordan Peterson. He will continue grabbing from Old Testament, propagating mainstream religions who were long ago corrupted, that led to the War of Independence. These religions were corrupted back in the United Kingdom. The British Empire, same with the French Empire, same with the Spanish Empire, the Japanese Imperial Empire, the German monarchy, corrupted, all same religions. This was not the same, folks. Not the same 250 years ago for the United States of America in their initial states who went for independence. They didn't subscribe to the corrupted mainstream religions who all, since Egypt, put a divinity of a human being born at the top of the pyramid to administer the Almighty's system in a pyramid scheme, a golden top. That if you work under our pyramid scheme and our system, first, second, third class, and savage class. And I can show you all over the world by the greatest legal historians in the world, legal experts, historians, real truth. You all know it's true. I can take you to South America, show you the pyramid schemes by those first peoples of South America. I can take you all the way across the world to the Asian world, same pyramids, same schemes. That there's a God, but he's entrusted on me and my family to teach you how the world works and how to get through to God. You have to go through my system. I'm a human being. I'm going to have a level system, and you can try to get to that level system and contribute to me and my family, and we'll get you to the kingdom. Man, people, they just don't stop. Folks, this is reality. This is the truth. And this has been the history of the world. Egypt, Asia, these places aren't even close to each other, but human beings always try to herd everybody like sheep. That word, the sheep. They try to do this. It's a disease of humanity. And many, many religious figures have come forward to fight that through love and equality. And we are very fortunate that 250 years ago, the United States of America achieved that truth by 13 states. 13 states and a few others who constituted that truth. And then the federal government that was formed after had to take a lot of that truth and incorporate it in their constitution. This is the same for Russia 100 years ago, just over 100 years ago. Those two countries alone. You won't find any other constitutions that do that and achieved a power base in the world today. And yes, USA and Russia have a tremendous military capacity, tremendous arms. They can each destroy the world many times over, all on their own. And we can cry out and say, oh, that's not right. But something interesting happened with the fall of the most powerful pyramid scheme country that ever existed in our modern time was the British Empire. When it fell, when France, who was just almost as powerful, fell, Germany then fell to Russia and USA. Basically, China's there. That's why they're one of the P5. But those two countries brought forward the real true equality of the person, the real true cementing of a central God God, not a man. Neither of those constitutions ever put any pyramid scheme together. They put God as a central figure and the people that are to be served by the politicians. Not a pyramid scheme. Pyramid scheme is Egypt. It's South America's former system. It was Asia's former system. Again, we say Egypt. Rome had it too. These are evils, evil constructs of men who've put themselves in divinity. Crown, emperor, tyrant, dictator, supreme, chancellor, we can go on and on. They've all had names, but all have the same systems today. Dr. Jordan Peterson doesn't address that. He talks a lot about Old Testament stolen long ago out of the Dark Ages by countries who become as powerful as Rome through that system. And how did they do it? By having a first, second, third class, and a savage, liquidable class. They went around the world liquidating their supposed savage class, because you take the wealth from those people and you put it up through the pyramid to the center. Even the third class is basically the slave working class, knuckle to the bone. They never get ahead in those systems. Always new laws and rules by the highest level, and they divide you. Jordan Peterson does not talk about any of this evil, which is clearly laid out by Jesus Christ, clearly laid out by Mohammed, clearly laid out by Moses. He gave 10 laws when he came down from the mountain. No, the mountain is not a pyramid with a golden top. God is like the sun, the creator, the sun, that central power for all of us, not in a pyramid. It's just a central light, a truth that finds us all very well. It's not in a pyramid scheme. It's not in a crown system. We can't have systems of crown and pyramid. We don't need to go through people to get to God or know what's right and wrong. That's what real constitutionalism promises to bring. Power to the people. Real equality that everybody has the chance to become something better, to achieve what God's talents have given them. And yes, when we look at financial, you'll never all be equal, because some people will gravitate to things better than others. Some people will work harder at different things, but that's the uniqueness of the individual. It doesn't mean we get rid of social systems. They're still always going to be there, because you need a strong unit of society. And that starts with the family, not with central divine human beings. It means each and every family. It means starting with people in charge, empowering people. We can't have divine rulers. In all age of humanity, in pyramid schemes, divine hierarchies, there's always oppression, there's always abuse, and dramatic human rights abuses. Forever and a day. It's always been this way. People will always gravitate to that. 2 countries in the world today fought back against that idea. That's the United States and the Russian Federation today. They have different ways about it. I don't subscribe to communism or autocratic systems federally, even though the regions aren't. Doesn't matter. I believe in power to the people. Real, true freedom where it's not decided by a divine right of a class of minority people who are taking the wealth from you. They will never, ever, ever do what's right for you or your family. They'll never make decisions that are right for you or your family. Do people not understand this? Look at the history of every empire and crown dynasty ever made. It's riddled with blood, evil, and no good success. The churches, those mainstream religions, fell to that evil a long time ago. I'm sorry, but the Catholic Church and its system is all a money maker. We see this in many other religions, mainstream, corrupted long ago. USA and Russia said, no, that won't go forward. That's why we see the Bible Belt in the United States. You don't see those religions today running the United States. You see corruptions of presidencies. Is America perfect? Is Russia perfect? Obviously not. There's executive power of those presidencies that on the world stage is very dangerous because it's empowering a person beyond the will of the people that they're supposed to serve. Americans don't see it. Russians don't see it. Academics, they see it. I can't save America and Russia. I can't change them. I can help to teach. I can get into the academic world. I can write papers, which I'm going to, but I can't change those countries. I can focus on my country. And I can tell you all clearly, Jordan Peterson is clearly crown sworn. He bent the knee a long time ago. He's a doctorate. He was in a university. He swore to the crown. And it's the same Jesuit crown that finances him today, gets him to do these lectures to corrupt Americans. They don't subscribe to the mainstream religions like we do here in Canada, blindly and faithfully under our divine politicians. They don't do that in America. You'll find that's not the case. He has to go to special sittings, but he keeps sharing his message, and it destroys America because that's not what America is codified as. It's not their view of the divine God above, the Creator. That's not what's in their Constitution. Canada is sick. Canada is a gross misrepresentation of the Bible, the Quran. We can go through the Judean texts, the Jews. It's a gross misrepresentation. You won't find any of the coveted religious leaders, whether it's Jesus, the Son of God, or, again, Muhammad or Moses, which they all share. You will not find that narrative ever as a pyramid scheme. God is inside all of us, and we know right and wrong, but we get blinded by human beings who try to take control of that away from us. Why? Because they've already done it in your political system. They've already done it for a long time. The highest laws of the land. It's written into your Constitution. Read the Canadian Constitution. There's no God there. There's a hierarchy of a royal family, a divine set of human beings, and all the divine politicians underneath them, empowered by that divinity of human beings. That's a pyramid scheme. That's a lie. That's against all mainstream religions. But you'll find none of the religions call it out because they've all designed their hierarchies the same way. You can go read the history of all the colonials and all the mainstream religions. You can go through the Muslim world and you'll find the same thing with all their dictators. They've already hijacked, long ago, all the mainstream religions. They exist to serve that pyramid system with the golden top. You don't find God there. God's right here. God's right here in your heart. You can read your text and you'll find that even Moses' law has told you not to ever put divinity in human beings. Jordan Peterson won't talk about that. He's a literary genius, a master of religious text. If I figured this out, and most of the academic world has figured this out, why is it Jordan Peterson hasn't figured it out? He's a genius level, right? He should be able to present this all to you because he believes in God, right? Oh, he believes in his system of God and a pyramid scheme with the golden top. There's many organizations out there that a lot of you see as satanic. They use the pyramid and the golden top or the eye at the top. And you know what? That's Jordan Peterson selling that crown bullshit. First, second, third class, and the savage class to be liquidated. They will become good slaves or they'll be exterminated. He sure Shirley doesn't like to talk about those evils of society and culture that we codify, we gratify, and we continue forever and a day. This is my video. It's very powerful. It's what is the war on America? Most of the world, people, the General Assembly, 75% subscribe of the countries, subscribe to the pyramid scheme that Jordan Peterson seems to love. He says that's how you find God. That's what God is represented by. And I can guarantee you all that most academics in religious study, doctorates, don't share Jordan Peterson's view. Jordan Peterson is corrupted by the crown. He's Canadian. He's a doctorate right here in Canada. He bent the knee a long time ago. He put his divinity in a fellow human being. And those group of human beings of the crown fund him very, very well. They give him a lot of money and a lot of backing to go around and preach his bullshit. And he's doing that to corrupt America, to turn it into like another Canada, which we're seeing. I don't like Joe Biden. President Joe Biden bothers me. There's, again, problems with America. No country's perfect. It's great in a lot of ways, but it's got some corruption of the executive power of presidency. And it's how America goes out in foreign policy that Americans are not made aware of at home. They don't realize that it's a crown system that presidents are able to dictate out there on the international stage. Totally contrary to everything that is the 50 states of America. And they don't know. They don't know. No one highlights it because it's probably pretty dangerous. Things that I say in this video can get you in a lot of trouble. I'm going to continue to go forward. I hope things work out well for me. I'm planning to go to New York, to the UN, to the P5. I'm planning that trip shortly, getting my ducks in order. In March, I go to Texas. Maybe I will have something to write on religion and the states and the corruption of the world and the war on America. I've talked about this for many years. Jordan Peterson is not an ally. He's not of God, not the real God that's for all of us. He's got a hierarchy system that he thinks is perfectly fine. Where did he get that? Well, that's the crown backing him. They tell you it's very stable. It's a very stable system. Of course, it's stable for you, but not the third class. They're barely making ends meet. And it's definitely not a system you want to find yourself as a defined savage. We can go through history and go through all the history of all the savages made. You'll find pyramids at the center of every single one of those societies, and pinnacles at the top, a divine class of human beings. It's sick, it's wrong, and we need to fight back. That's my video. Share, share, share. Bye now.